Alright, hi folks, so this is try number 1, my first YouTube video. So before we start, if you're interested in car stuff like tutorials and probably some senseful tips and tricks for the future, be sure to like and subscribe. I would really appreciate that. And other than that, if you have some ideas for improvement for my videos, leave a comment below. I would be thankful for that. I know the lighting today is not the best because I'm just in my home garage at the moment. Yeah, and I think now just let's get started with the topic. As you probably have read, it's about installing aftermarket seats in the C6, C06 or any C6 Corvette. So before I even get started with how to install them, I probably would like to do a little short review of what seats I would recommend you to install. So let's go to the driver's side. I hope you can see something, even though the lighting is really bad. So the seats I'm installing here are the Recaro pole position seats. It's really dark on the camera, I'm sorry for that. But I think you get the idea. I will make another video in daylight so that you can actually see something here. But in my honest opinion, they're just basically the best sports car seats out there. They are light, they're reliable, they're safe, and I think even the price is really okay. They're not adjustable, however, but in my opinion you really don't need it, because you really have a really good, comfy and sporty seat at the same time. And yeah, it's just about perfect. I mean, Porsche installs them, I think Ferrari also had them installed in some cars, and a bunch of other manufacturers, and I mean there's obviously a reason for that. Alright, so now let's go to the sketchy shit. As you can see, I've mocked this. So this is the passenger side seat, by the way, and the R is missing because my dad thought that Recaro badge there looks stupid, so he tried to pull it off and stopped after the R, which now looks way better obviously than before. Anyway, what I did actually is you can buy those seats and get those seat consoles, so those sheet metals that are attached here, you can buy them from Recaro. They are matched to those seats. You have them adjustable in the front and rear. Oh, lighting is really bad again. There you go. So you can see those 4 slots here. You got 4 in the front, 2 in the back. So you can alter the angle of the seat, how you sit in the car. And then I attached some universal sliding adapter things, whatever you call them, from Sparco. But basically you can use whatever you find. They're really not that expensive. I think a set was like 50 bucks, if that. And then to adapt it to the car, I made those metal adapter bars here. Basically it's just an iron piece. It's a 2-inch wide and around a 1/4 of an inch thick. And yeah, basically you have to bend it like this, and I also made a little cutout here on the top so that it clears the carpet in the car and you can go all the way down. The nice thing about the setup doing it like this is that you really sit relatively low in the car. Pretty often when you install seats on the C6, you hear that the issue is that you sit way too high. So actually doing it like this, I think it moves you down pretty much as far as possible. The only thing that adds up height, so to say, is the height of this sliding bar. You have that Sparco adapter here. The bar sits pretty much flush with the carpet, and yeah, all in all relatively simple, but it works. So the other thing is, and that's really talked about, the thing with the sensors, airbag and all stuff that has to do with the electronics. So let's jump into that. The first thing you have to do when you install different seats, and it really doesn't matter which seats they are, in your C6 Corvette, is that you make a little adapter or a little tricky thingy for your airbag so that the car thinks that the airbag is still there. Obviously the aftermarket seats do not have the side airbags, and I think there are also some C6 Corvettes that do not have the side airbags in the seats as well. I don't know if it was an option or it was like year specific. I do know that there are some cars that do not have those airbags, so in that case you don't need that. Anyway, if you have side airbags, what you have to do is, this is the original connector from the seat, and I just cut it off, and then as you can see, made a nice little dongle on there, which is just shrink wrap around one of those 3.3 ohm resistors. So you need 3.3 ohms, and I put a little like ballast resistor in there. It's a 5 watt one, so just in case there's some load on, they can also take some load and do not burn through. And I just soldered those into the original 2 wires that are on there, and then shrinked it all really good so that there is no accidental contact or shortage, and you're basically good to go. The other thing is, and I'm going to show you that from the other side of the seat, the like seat passenger detection mat, however you want to call it, basically what detects if there is a passenger on your seat or not. So as I just said, now it's about those, or the passenger detection mat thing, however you want to call it, and that's what it looks like. It's basically looks like a bag filled with some oil or liquid, and what it does is it detects if you got a passenger or not. The nice thing about those Recaro seats here is that the cushions are just put on with Velcro, so you can take them off, put this mat underneath the Velcro, and basically have it function like original, which is pretty cool. And since you have a hole in the middle of the seat right there, which is therefore a 3-point harness, you can just take the original cable, which is this one here, and run it under the seat, plug it in to the original harness, and good to go. And it even functions, which is pretty nice, I think. The next thing you obviously need is your seatbelt lock, and in case of the C6 Corvette, that seatbelt lock is what have, like that tightening device, whatever. So in case you have a crash, this tightens your seatbelt and holds you in your seat so that you do not slide out and crash against anything. Anyway, I would highly recommend you to install this again on your seat. First of all, to avoid any airbag lights, and the second thing is it's quite sensible for safety. So I just took this off the original seat, drilled 2 holes, installed it on the aftermarket seat here. The only thing you had, or I had to do to make it work, that tab on the end here where the second screw is, on the original seat, that tab is angled 90 degrees and sticks into a slot on the seat. So I just bent it to make it flush, drilled a hole in, and then put a, in my case, a metric screw, an M6 in. You can use whatever screw you have laying around. So that being said, installed like this, you can go with the actual belt lock through here, which makes it nice. It's not in your way when you sit in the seat, so it's really comfortable. You're not rubbing on it, and I mean, I'm a really big guy and I'm still not rubbing. So, and then the wires can just be routed behind the seat and underneath, and yeah, then attached to your original harness. The last thing on the list that you will probably not even see because it's a fucking dog in here is the seat position sensor. I pointed it right now. Anyway, the seat position sensor is what you find on your car or on your original seats. It's riveted in place and it detects if the seat is probably all the way to the front or all the way to the back, like in case you have a little child on your seat, a baby, whatever, and in that case it would deactivate the passenger side airbag to protect the child. So since I think nobody's gonna put his child in a racing seat, we can pretty much remove the feature, but in order to avoid any warning lights and stuff, I just took the sensor, drilled the rivets out and screwed it to this seat with the sensor side facing to a metal obstacle. In this case, it's just the seat rail of those Recaro adapters here. They're angled 90 degrees down here, and I made the sensor. I screwed it just onto here and made the sensor side face the underneath of that adapter plate, so it basically thinks that your seat is always in the correct position, so that your airbag actually works. And like I said, that way you avoid any airbag lights, and I think that's a bonus. I hate warning lights in my dashboard. Yeah, other than that, there's really not much to say. So I'm gonna put those seats in, and definitely will make a video once the seats are installed in the car and the first test drive is done. Yeah, if you got any other questions, leave a comment below. I hope I can answer it, and other than that, have a nice day and finish your project.